of the things that leads to the sad tale of what I ordered versus what I got is not taking an accurate body measurement. If you do not take an accurate body measurement of yourself or your client, you would definitely have issues when you are making your pattern or you are doing your freehand cutting, and definitely at the end of the day you will have issues of the bust point going to the underbust or the underbust going to the waistline. Hi guys, you're welcome back to the channel. Today my name is Oyi Afolabi and I am the creative director of 41 Luxuries, and today I'll be sharing with us how to take an accurate body measurement. Very simple, easy and fast. Okay, so I had tried all I could to make it very straightforward for us. Okay, so quickly before we start to demonstrate, I would like to share with us some precautions. I'll say precautions we need to take before taking body measurements. So before I start, let me just say this because it's not part of it, but it's really important. Before you take your client's measurement, make sure your client is in a right state of mind. It's funny, right? But that's the truth. When you're about to take a client's measurement, watch their mood. It has to do with it, trust me, because the person is not happy, they are not feeling too well, they just managed to come to take their body measurements and you are just taking it like that. The person is falling this way, is falling that way, and you are still managing to take the body measurements. At the end of the day, when you mess up with their dress, they will not tell you they are not the one that is not standing very well when you are taking the body measurements. So please, when your client is feeling somehow and you see that they are, try to cheer them up, try to say something funny, try to make them active. It's really important you do so. So watch your client's mood before taking their body measurements. 1, make sure your client is putting on the correct garment or outfit. Yes, in case you want to take a measurement for a pant or trouser, make sure the person is not putting on a fitted skirt, because there's no how you want to take this measurement and this person is putting on this. How is that going to be possible? Do you have to pull up their skirt before you start measuring their thigh, measuring their lap? That's not going to work, because it's not possible for you to be pulling up your client's clothes because you want to take their measurements. Okay. 2, make sure the person is putting on a fitted bra. If you are taking measurements for a lady, make sure they are putting on a fitted bra. For example, when you are making a corset, you don't want to mess with your measurements, even every other type of designs. So you need to tell your client that they should put on a fitted bra, because you are assuming that they are putting on the garment already. So you don't measure someone that is not putting on a bra and you expect a perfect measurement. So in case you are measuring the person, make sure you ask them, is this your best bra? It's not. You find a way to ask them that, auntie, do you still have a bra that is more firm than this? You wear any other bra whenever you are putting on an outfit, whenever you are going for an event, because there are some people that do have a special brassiere they wear to an event. Yes, so you need to ask them politely so that you will know if you are to add to the measurement or you are to deduct from it. Okay. 3, when you are taking your client's measurements, do not stand directly in front of them. It really makes them uncomfortable. Yes, because some people cannot stand other people coming too close to them. I'm not saying you should stay far away and start measuring like this, doing this, struggling to, that's not what I'm saying. Just make sure that you are standing directly by their side. Standing beside them will make it easier for you to even take the measurements. Yes, so if you are standing directly in front of clients, they might not tell you, but that's just the truth. Do not stand directly in front of them. Do not assume comfortability with you. Do not oh my god. When you are taking this measurement, make sure you ask them if it is too tight or too loose. How do they want it? Do not assume that this is okay. Do not assume that this is tight enough. Do not assume that this is loose enough. Do not assume anything when you are taking a client's measurement, except if they send the measurement to you. Even if they send the measurement to you, you will cut and sew exactly on that measurement. The only thing you can do is to add to the measurement or put in allowance in case they said it's too big or it's too small. You can always work on it. Okay, but if you are measuring directly, the person is with you and you are measuring the person, kindly ask them, is it okay, ma? Is this okay, sir? Do not assume comfortability for your client. 5. Do not skip any parts of the body measurements, even the ones that you will not need. Measure it. Okay, before your clients come over for a measurement, they might have sent you the design, or you have design with you. So before they come over, write down all the measurements you would need, all the important measurements, even everything, every part of them, especially if the person is a first timer with you. Please do not skip any body measurement. That'll be all for the precautions that I know. If there's any other precautions you know, kindly drop in the comment section so that every other person can learn from it. Even me, remember, we are learning, we are both learning. So that'll be all for the precautions. Now let's just get into the business and let's start taking our body measurement. So we take the body measurement for the half scale, the full scale, the basic bodice, basic skirts, and the basic trouser, then the basic sleeve on our mannequin, because I don't have an access to human being for now. So when we are taking the body measurement, if there is any other thing I need to tell us, I need to show us, I'll definitely mention. Let's get into the business of today. So let's get started. Okay guys, now let's take the body measurement. I already tell us what are the things that we need to put in place before we start taking body measurement. So I would like you to assume that this is the client you want to measure. Okay, I don't have access to human being now, so that's why I'm using my mannequin. So, and I already labeled the most important places that might seem to be confusing for us. Let me just tell us what I have on the papers. This is the chest width. This is the nipple to nipple. That is from one nipple point to the other. It is also known as bust span. In case I mentioned bust span, it is the same thing as the nipple to nipple. So this is the under bust. This is the waist, also known as the slim. I will explain that. And this is the lower waist. Okay, so this area is your hip line, but let's deal with this upper part first. To take a measurement of your client, you will start from this area down to wherever you want to take it. So now let's start with the upper bodice, like from here to here. So the area is the waist or slim, the smallest or the tiny part of your upper body, and this is where your half scale will stop. Okay, your half scale is basically from your shoulder to your waist, your slim. Okay, what we want to do now is to demonstrate how exactly you should measure yourself or your client. So let's just get into it. Make sure your tape is complete and correct. Okay, all my measurement now will stop at the beginning of this tape. This is where the measurement is going to stop. You see that this tape is a bit wide, it's like 1 inch wide. And the reason why I use it is because I want to write something on it. So you just watch the way I'm doing it carefully. Now let's start with the front length. To take the front length, you take your tape from the shoulder all through the bust area, not like this way, because this is part of the front. Okay, you take it this way, gently to the under bust and down to the waist here. Okay, so for this mannequin now, I have 15.5 inches for the front length. This is how you measure the person. You can simply tell the person to bend a little bit, okay, so that you can know where exactly is going in. That place that goes inside, that is where the that is where the half scale is going to stop. Okay, I just hope you understand. So that is for the front length, okay, 15.5 inches for this mannequin. So after taking that front length, you will take the shoulder to the nipple point. Okay, so for this mannequin I have 9 inches. Okay, that place, make sure the person is putting on a firm bra. I already told us about that. So you measure that. That is your nipple point or shoulder to nipple. Okay, so after taking shoulder to the nipple point, you have to take to the under bust, because we are taking the vertical measurement first. Do you understand? We are taking it this way. So we already take the front length to be 15.5, then we take the shoulder to nipple to be 9 inches. Now to the under bust, we have 13 inches. Okay, 13 inches. So that is that for the vertical measurement, like measurement this way. Do you understand? For the full scale now, the difference between the half scale and full scale is that the full scale is going to stop somewhere around your hip area. On your hip line, this part where my top stops, that is the hip line area. The widest part on your hip side, that is where your full scale stop, can you see that the length is different? This is 26 inches. You can stop on 25 inches depending on your client's body. Okay, so that is all for the vertical measurements. Now let's take the horizontal measurements. Now we are going to be starting with the chest width. Let me start with the chest width. How wide your chest is. Okay, you're going to measure from this side, okay, this part to this part, not inside your armhole. Okay, so that area is where you determine your armhole curve, your chest line, and so on and so forth. Okay, so after the chest width, now we are going to take the nipple to nipple, 7 inches. Okay, from one nipple point to another, your bust span. Okay, same thing. Then the bust measurements, the bust circumference. Okay, you are just going to take it round, exactly on top of this place. You take it on top of this place, and you make sure that you are not putting your finger in between this. You can just hold it with a tip like so, just like the way I'm doing. So just hold it with a tip like this so that you don't add to the measurement. So after the bust circumference, you take the under bust circumference. Okay, so this is how you take the under bust circumference. Okay, this is what we have, 27 inches. Now you want to take the waist circumference. So the waist circumference is basically round the smaller part of your waist. Then I have 27 inches, 26 inches. You measure it firmly, not too tight, except if the person requests for it to be tight. Okay, but the normal way is just to measure it firmly. Okay, so that is that about the half scale and the full scale, and that is for the front measurement. We are still going to measure the back as well. Now for the back measurements, we are still on the basic bodice measurements. First thing is to take the back length. So you are starting from the, so you will start from the shoulder to this place. The reason why I tied this tape is because I don't have a tape, I don't have a sellotape I would have put at the back. So that is why I'm tying a tape. So this tape is coming directly from the front towards this place, and this seems to be the smallest part. Okay, that part that I label waist and slim in the front, this is it. So you can just use a tape rule to tie your clients a little bit. Don't let it to be too tight. Okay, so from this shoulder down to this part, that is your back length, and I have 12 inch. The reason why it is like that is because we don't have a bust at the back. Okay, so it's just straight down. It is always shorter than the front length. Okay, so now after that you take the shoulder. So when you are taking the shoulder measurements, you take from here to here, directly on top of the shoulder. Okay, and for this shoulder now I have 13 inches for this shoulder. For this mannequin shoulder I have 13 inches. After the shoulder, you want to take the back width, like how wide is the back. So you start from here to here, because there will be some measurements that you would need your back width measurement. So this is 12 inch. You see that it is different from this one. This is a mannequin, do not forget. So in case you are measuring your client or you are measuring yourself or someone is helping you, the measurements will surely be different. Okay, because this is just a dummy. I'm just using it to demonstrate for us. So that is how it's going to be. So this is your back measurements, 12 inches. If it is a full scale, you definitely know that the length of the front is different from the back. Okay, that's that for the back. It doesn't really have much. So if you want to measure for skirts, this is where you start. Do you understand? You measure round this waist. Okay, this is where you put your skirt, except you want a high waist skirt or you want an extraordinary whatever. So this is your waist, 27 inches. After taking the lower waist circumference, you want to know your hip line to know where exactly you are going to be taking the hip circumference measurement. So from this lower waist now, you measure to that part that seems to be the biggest part of your hip. Okay, so from here now I have 8 inch. So from here now to 8 inch, that is the hip line. So on that 8 inch, that is where you measure your hip circumference, like your round hip measurement is also your hip circumference. So that is exactly where you place your tape. Okay, so that is that about the hip. So after taking the hip circumference, you want to take the skirt length. So you start from this lower waist again, down to wherever you want the length to be. that is left to you and your client. Do you understand? The lower waist, the hip line, the hip circumference, those are the most important places in basic skirt measurements. Okay, now let's take the basic trouser measurements. So guys, as for the trouser measurements, you'll be starting your measurements from the lower waist down to the ankle. So you start from your lower waist to check the trouser length. Okay, you take it up to the ankle or up to the floor depending on where the person wants it. So this is how you take the length, okay, downwards. So let's assume this is 45 inch. So after which you have taken the length, we already have our lower waist circumference. Okay, so after taking that, you will take the thigh measurement. So to take the thigh measurement, you measure one leg, like the biggest part of that leg. That is where you measure, just one. You take the thigh measurement this way, you take it upward this way. Do you understand? Because this seems to be, this place is smaller than this place, so you need to take the tape upward like so. I just hope you guys can see like that. So you take it upward this way. Okay, so that is how you take your thigh measurement. So after taking your thigh, either you call it thigh or lap, it's the same thing. Okay, this is your thigh measurement. So after which you have taken the trouser length, you take the knee length measurement. So from this lower waist, you want to know where exactly your knee is. So you measure from your lower waist this way to where exactly you have your knee. Okay, so this is 22 inch on top of your knee. So after taking that, you will now take the round knee circumference. Okay, when you are taking the round knee circumference, you can tell the person to bend their knee a little bit so that you will be able to take the knee circumference properly, because by the time the person is putting on the trouser, they'll be walking, they might want to sit down, they might want to bend or fold their legs so that it will not be too tight for them, so that they will be comfortable. After that, you take the ankle measurement. So I'll just use my leg as an example. You measure this way because the person, by the time they want to put on the trouser, they will be pulling it off this way. Okay, so you take it this way like this. Okay, that's how you take the wrist, that's how you take the ankle measurement. So for the basic trouser, I think that's all. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is to take the sleeve measurement. Now for the sleeve measurements, okay, we'll be taking both the short sleeve and the long sleeve. You will start your measurement from this part where the, this area that joins the shoulder and the hand together. That's where you start your measurement from. So you start from here. So to take the long sleeve length, you measure from the shoulder here down to this part. Okay, your wrist. This is your wrist, of course. We all know our wrist. So this is where your measurement is going to stop. Okay, that is for the long sleeve. So for the upper arm now, it's from here to the widest part, the biggest part of your arm. This is where you take your upper arm. So from your shoulder again, you take the elbow measurement. This is exactly where your elbow is. This is a mannequin, there's no how I can fold it. So this part is where you have your elbow. This is my elbow here, this area. So the length of the sleeve depends on you, where you want it to stop, for the half, for the elbow, for the wrist, or this place, anyhow, this depends on you. So you will need the elbow circumference as well. So the elbow is always like this. There's no how you will not fold your elbow, so that you'll be comfortable when you are putting on a long sleeve. Most especially, you need to measure your elbow to have your elbow circumference. So before you could measure your elbow, try and fold your arm this way, and you take your elbow measurement like that. Do you understand? I hope you can see, or maybe I should use another tape. So this is how you take your elbow measurement, not like this way. So with this way, you definitely get the perfect, by the time you measure it, you can just tell the clients to fold their hand like this. You get the elbow measurements. Okay, so and for the wrist, except you are making a fitted outfit with a stretchy fabric, or you are going to be having a zipper or a button around that area, so that it will be easier for the person to pull. Okay, but if you are not doing so, kindly tell the person to fold their hand like this, then you measure round. This will be easier actually. This makes it easier, because by the time they are pulling their shirt or their top or whatever you're making for them, they will have to force it through this way. Okay, so that is why you need to measure the wrists so as to know exactly the measurement you're going to be using. So guys, that'll be all for the body measurement. If there's anything you think I didn't mention, or you want me to mention, or you are confused about, feel free to bring up your thoughts about this video. Okay, and I hope you guys understand very well. So in my next video, I'll be sharing with us the basic sewing tools that we need as a beginner. It is not a must you have everything in this world before you start cutting and sewing. Even if you are not into fashion designing, there are still some things you need to have, not until you have everything before you can amend your clothes, before you can do one or two things on your own. Thank you very much for watching to this moment. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, click on the like button, share this video for other people to see. Okay, and also I'll be sharing a video on pattern drafting and freehand, which one is better. Just turn on your notification bell so that whenever I drop the videos, you will be aware, you'll be notified, and you will not miss it. So thank you very much guys for watching. Bye.